Detroit Den 313. We are back. Steve and Will. Before we get going, please hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of this new content. Steve, I got my pen ready.
Yeah, the world's biggest pen.
Let's take some notes here.
Where do
Steve, talk to the
Because
people.
I know it doesn't fit in a pocket.
Hey,
Where
I'm
do you
not gonna
carry
say.
that thing at?
I'm not gonna. Hey,
Are we rating the show R, X, PG? What are we doing?
my special pocket is where I keep this.
Yeah, your prison pocket.
Talk to the people.
It is unfortunately that time where we have to start getting ready for next year. Our season's over. We got to start looking ahead. We got to start getting some mock drafts ready, some free agency ready. I've already dove into a little bit of the Senior Bowl. I'm diving into the free agents. We're going to talk Detroit Lions wish list for next year's roster. And we're going to keep it reasonable. We're not playing Madden. We understand that. We're not talking like we're trading for Patrick Mahomes or anything like that. But we got a list of guys we're going to talk about, some free agents. This is all operating under the assumption that no franchise tag is happening. We understand how the franchise tag works. We're just kind of having a little hopeful moment, some guys who could fit our system, some guys we need, some positions we need to fill, some voids. So Will, on your list, who's a guy you're looking at that's a free agent?
After what we just witnessed from our secondary, specifically our corners, Jalen Johnson.
Cam Sutton.
Jalen Johnson,
cornerback, Chicago Bears, youngest corner available, 24 years old.
A baby. He's a baby.
Yeah, he's still young. Now, if we got Jalen Johnson, would we move Cam Sutton to cornerback too? What would his role be?
So I'm still not quite ready to define his role because I'm a little fearful that I could say something that I really don't mean. But I could see Jalen Johnson playing number one corner is what I will say. I could see that. I could see a world where that was the case. Cam's going to be out there. So hopefully, depending on what we draft and what's going on with him, like hopefully he comes back healthy. Nice strong offseason. Knocks that whatever bug was going on, and he comes back a beast, man. But yeah, I definitely see Jalen as a number one corner in Detroit, and that's that. What are you thinking?
I think he'd be a number one corner on most teams. Why not Detroit Lions, where we need a number one corner? We need that guy that can just take away one side of the field more often than not. Yeah. We need that guy that matches up better against Justin Jefferson, who we see twice. The Packers have a loaded wide receiver room. I mean, we go against some receivers, DJ Moore, like a good receiver. We need someone who matches up with those guys that we see, twice a season. And I'm looking for, like, a lot of teams have a good wide receiver. Like, we have a good wide receiver that people try to match up well. Yeah. And Amon-Ra St. Brown just doesn't allow it. But Jalen Johnson, I think, is a lot of people's number one cornerback, but he's not mine. He's not my number one, Will. He's not my number one because I think he's going to demand a lot of money. And I'm trying to keep this budget friendly for the Detroit Lions. I'm not saying I'm going to and shopping at wish.com to pick up my cornerbacks, but I'm looking at a guy like L'Jarius Sneed, who is coming out. He's going to be a free agent after the Super Bowl. I think he fits, and I think he is very undervalued and very, I don't want to say underrated, but underappreciated.
Steve, I'm going to tell you this. And guys, tell me if I'm an idiot. But L'Jarius Sneed is about to get a bag. I think he's going to get paid more than Jalen Johnson. Like
I don't think so. Just because of the age. Jalen's younger.
He's only 27 years old.
I didn't say he was old.
Yeah, he's about to get a bag. With the way he's been playing, sign him to a 3-4 year deal, 30, 31 years old. He's about to get paid. I remember, to my own ignorance, I was talking about last year, I was talking about the corners from Kansas City, and I was like, yeah, man, they got the value menu corners. I remember just talking about it.
You talked a lot of trash.
I talked a lot of trash, and this dude has I need to send him an apology letter because he just balled. The way he undressed Zay Flowers trying to score a touchdown, I just won't even get into it. If you guys watch the beginning shows when we started this thing, I was enamored with Zay Flowers, and I still like the guy, even though he absolutely imploded, which is a totally another subject. But yeah, I think He's about to get a bag.
I don't think he's going to get as much as Jalen Johnson again, just because of the age. I think people are going to pay those younger corners. They're very similar. I think L'Jarius Sneed, I haven't studied his tape yet. I'm just taking down some names. I'm doing a little research. I haven't got on YouTube and done any, other than subscribe to Detroit Den 313. I haven't looked at any tape. But from what I've seen, unfortunately, I've watched way too many Kansas City Chiefs games this year where I have to see Taylor Swift every 17 seconds. But they're always talking about L'Jarius Sneed and Chris Jones on defense.
Yeah.
And Sneed plays very, very well in man coverage. And I think that's something that we lack a great deal.
Yeah.
And he's going to get paid. Yeah, you're right. But I think he's just going to be a tad bit cheaper than Jalen Johnson. And you can quote me right now. I will not come on the show and cry one single tear if we sign either one of them.
No.
I don't care. But we do need a corner. And those are the two big dogs that are out there. There's some other guys like, I don't know. How do you feel about Stephon Gilmore?
Man, I'd rather sign his brother.
We already have
bring him back. That's what I'm saying. Just sign his brother.
Yeah, I just put his name down as kind of like we're talking corners, so let's keep the corner theme going. But yeah, I'm with you. I think we got to go get one of those two guys.
Yeah, we got to solidify this thing.
Which means Brad Holmes will go out and sign someone else that's completely different, kind of like the Cam Sutton thing that caught us completely off guard last year.
Yep.
Wasn't on anybody's radar. But Jalen Johnson, L'Jarius Sneed, I need one of those two guys. Yeah. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, I have heard Brad Holmes talk about there being phases to his free agency and his free agency thought process. And I wonder, and I don't know this, I'm speculating and I'm just wondering out loud. I wonder if we're at the phase of free agency where we sign veterans, because we've been trying to keep this thing young. We've been trying to build it, young core. We've talked about how we have a good young core. Now, are we at that phase to where we start signing guys that are maybe 29, 30, 31 years old? Because, historically, he's tried to stay, in that 25, 26, 27 range when signing these free agents. He doesn't really like signing the old dogs with a couple years left on their, in their NFL career.
And another thing, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have both publicly said they are not going to sign guys that don't fit the team.
Yep.
The team comes first, culture, how you fit, locker room characteristics, your personality, all that's probably going to go into effect. So that's another thing why we kind of left some other guys off the list, some guys who were some question marks personality wise. But the three guys we've talked about, I think, would be good fits. And if we can get one of those guys for sure, plus some guys we're going to talk about here in a second, I think our defense, like Aaron Glenn, no more excuses. Like, you've got your personnel. We haven't even talked draft stuff yet.
Yeah.
I think just adding two key free agents, safety or corner, pass rusher, we're pretty much locked in. Would you agree?
If we get two top 15 dudes in free agency, I think we're sitting pretty. Go get me a corner and either a DN or a defensive tackle.
So let's talk them. Let's talk some DN and D tackles. Who's some names? Throw some guys out there.
Man, listen.
I know what you're gonna say.
I don't know if you do.
Oh boy.
I flat out want Brian Burns.
Okay.
Get him on my team. Like I know that's not your number one, but I just feel like Brian Burns offers a bit of versatility, and I feel like he is exactly what they are trying to make the dude across from Aiden Hutchinson. Like Charles Harris was supposed to be this dude. Then we sprinkle in a James Houston who we wanted to grow into the dude. Like we're not looking for a true, because I feel like Daniil Hunter, while I love him, he's a defensive end though. He's not going to offer that versatility of standing up and doing other things, really. Like maybe in a sprinkle little package here and there, but he's not really going to be able to do it. Brian Burns will be able to just stand up or put his hand in the dirt, go play. Do I my rushing? Am I dropping back into a coverage? Am I delayed blitzing? Do I just decide I'm just going to wreck a football game this Sunday?
Here's the thing, Will. You don't know shit about me. Because I don't care where the pass rush comes from. I don't care if you're standing up. I don't care if you're sitting down. I don't care if you're in a 3-point stance, a 4-point stance, or you're chugging beers in the stands. If you can rush the passers, I need you on this team.
Yes.
I don't care if you're running from your grandmama with a switch. If you could put pressure on a quarterback, I do not care. I do not have a number one. At this point, I do not have a number one guy I want. I'll take Brian Burns. I like I was very, very high coming out of the draft. Josh Allen. There was two guys I wanted out of the draft. We're going to talk maybe about both of them, but for sure,
Yeah.
Josh Allen. He went right in front of us when we took T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah.
We're not talking the quarterback, Josh Allen, the edge from Jacksonville. 26 years old, coming off a career high 17 and a half sacks. Now, we said at the beginning of the show, this episode is operating under no franchise tag.
Yep.
But I do not see a world where Jacksonville lets that guy get out of town for at least one more year. They're not known to be big spenders, but this is a guy that they can franchise tag at a decent price. I don't see him getting out of town, but to me, he's Brian Burns on steroids.
Yeah.
But I just don't think he's going to be available personally.
I don't think he's going to be available either. I just look at Brian Burns, man, and I think, does the Carolina Panthers really think they're about to compete for the next, 30 years or so?
Absolutely. And that's why I don't think Josh Allen's getting out of town, because Jacksonville's
they're trying to make a run.
Yeah, they went to the AFC Championship game last year or the divisional round. I can't remember, but
I know they were in
a
the
playoff run.
Yeah.
They're two different players on two different teams with two different trajectories right now. So I don't see Josh Allen getting out of town. Brian Burns, I can see. And then you said something about Danielle Hunter. I think he's a big question mark too, because it seems like Minnesota does not want to commit to being in a rebuild. They just don't want to say the words. They're kind of like in limbo, like 50-50. What are they doing? I don't know. So Danielle Hunter kind of falls into a weird category for me.
Mm-hmm.
Who else you like?
Man, honestly, when I go through this list, man, I'm starting to get, I don't want to say value menu after that, because I just have a vision, man. And I just have a vision where we sign three guys. One of them is T. Higgins, and then a combination of a pass rusher, and then Dream World, obviously, but then Jalen Johnson or Ladarius Sneed. Like it's good night, NFL.
So T. Higgins. So Josh Reynolds is gone?
No, I don't think Josh Reynolds is gone. I think Josh Reynolds truly is our receiver tight end. And I know you know what I mean, for people who are, don't know what I mean by that is Jared Goff loves Josh Reynolds. He's a kind of a safety net for him when we go into those 3-4 receiver sets, especially on those third down situations, or kind of just where he's hanging out in a pocket a little bit of extra time, and he needs somebody to just get a possession catch, kind of out of the blue. That's maybe been quiet all game. For whatever reason, him and Josh Reynolds has that rapport. I know it comes from being with the Rams. They've been together a long time, but I think he'll be on the roster. But we're talking about a dynamic, big, strong receiver that can high point a ball, make big plays, make Amon-Ra's life a little bit easier, open up the field for J-Mo to be even have more space to run around and stop having the roof put over those guys.
If I had to pick a receiver who's a free agent, T. Higgins would be my number one. I think it was you. I can't remember. Was it you who said something about DJ Chark, like being a replacement for DJ Chark, like what he did? I don't think you're giving T. Higgins enough credit. I think he does everything DJ Chark did for the DJ Chark for the Lions was solid. I was a little surprised we let him go. You bring in a guy like T. Higgins, this offense will be number one in the NFL.
Listen, T. Higgins does everything better than DJ Chark, and I was happy that we had DJ Chark, but he puts his helmet on better, he puts his jersey on better, he ties his shoes better, like he's more handsome, like better dancer, like everything. He does everything on a football field better than DJ Chark. Like if we got T. Higgins and added him to this offense, and we just got two of those guys defensively, I feel like we're living in a world where life is just unfair for other teams in the NFL.
So if we sign T. Higgins, what do you think would happen with Khalif Raymond? Just purely punt returns?
Honestly, man,
I just Peoples-Jones, like we got someone's got to get cut. Well, you're signing these guys. Who we cutting?
I think we're getting to a point with the Detroit Lions where Dan Cable mentioned it last year. We're gonna start cutting good players.
We've talked about it before too.
Yeah, we really are, man. We're really gonna start cutting good players. Donovan Peoples-Jones is a very solid football player, and he's going to be on somebody's roster. But I could live in an NFL where he wasn't on ours because our receiving core was so good. Um, Raymond, I feel like offers something special for us. He's got that he can run the ball, he can catch little dink and duck screen passes, and then he also offers something in the return game. But I could also live in a world where maybe if we had to part ways because our core was so tough. But I think he would be I think he would still be on a roster. I think we would be looking at that point probably T. We'd be looking at Craig Reynolds, Amon-Ra St. Brown. We'd be looking at JMO, and we'd be looking at Raymond.
Josh Reynolds, not Craig Reynolds. He's probably going to be in the USFL next year.
You're right. I apologize.
No, you're right. I love T. Higgins. That would be a hell of a signing. And I only asked you about the guys that we already have because, like I said, we're not playing Madden here. We're not just going and signing guys. We understand a signing is probably going to come with us losing someone.
Yeah.
So out of everyone we've talked about tonight, realistically, give me 3 guys that you must have.
I kind of think I sit in the same spot as you. A combination, to me, we said it last year and it kind of worked out. So I'm going to say this again. I need a combination of Ladarius Sneed and Jalen Johnson, period.
And either one of them?
Either one of them. I would be happy and overjoyed if either one of them showed up in Detroit. I need a combination, just like you just said, of those pass rushers. Brian Burns happens to be my favorite, but if we signed any of those top level pass rushers, hey, I would be very happy. Or if we went the other route, and I'm gonna let you say this guy's name, the Baltimore Ravens DT,
Justin Matabuke.
Yeah, so if
I think I got that right.
You crushed it. Hey, you did it better than I would have did it.
I study. I have to go to Wikipedia and see how they spell it out with the hyphens and everything
and break it down. Yeah. But even if we lived in a world to where that was the route that we went, a guy had 13 sacks. So I mean, instead of the defensive end route, while I would prefer to get one of these defensive ends or stand up guys that can stand up or rush, I would rather live in that world. But I wouldn't complain if we did that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Get me a rusher, get me a corner, and then if we sprinkle in a T. Higgins or something like that, so be it, man.
Well, absolutely. Real quick, why I didn't bring up Justin Matabuke is I've seen a lot of people with some edits on Twitter with putting him in a Lions jersey. I think the kid's phenomenal. I think he does very, very well in Baltimore. What he does there is elite level. I don't think he would do good on another team. I think he's just a Baltimore guy. That's all it is. I'm not going to get into schemes, X's and O's, but I just see him as being one of those players. And I'm not trying to throw shade at this guy, but I see some Albert Haynesworth, where Albert Haynesworth was phenomenal for the Titans, and he went to Washington, and you never heard his name ever again. That's just the vibe I get. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. It's just, I don't know. I think he should just stay in Baltimore. I think he does really well there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not going to challenge you on it because I haven't done enough film study yet. Well, this is still early in the game for us guys, but my ears perk up when I hear 13 sacks, and I know that when I've watched the games, I've watched him impact the games. But
yeah, I've only watched 2 Ravens games this year, so can't really say a whole lot. It's just kind of a gut feeling, nothing more, nothing less. But if I had to take 3 guys from this group of people we've talked about, I'm with you. L'Jarius Sneed, Jalen Johnson. We come on here, we do a show about whoever signed. You're not going to see tears from me. Very happy. I give it a 10 out of 10 already, and it hasn't even happened yet. And I'm good with if I had to choose my player that I would want to rush the passer, it would be Danielle Hunter. I'm the opposite of you. I like that traditional, just straight up DN, like a Nick Bosa, a old school Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett. Those are just my types of guys. Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah. You put someone on the other end, and like I said before, I don't give a shit. If my wife could rush a passer, she'd be out there in pads. Trust me. I'm taking you to the game on Sundays. Go put your pads on. Go get after Brock Purdy. Okay,
take care of business.
That's where I'm at. So it sucks, guys. We're still reeling off the loss the other night, but we just got to get into that mindset of next season. Picking 29 overall in the draft. It's going to be hard for us to do some mock drafts picking that deep because we just don't know who's going to be there, how aggressive Brad Holmes is going to be. But in free agency, it's kind of go get your man.
You feel me?
So leave a comment down below. If there's some other guys you want us to talk about that we didn't mention, trust me, we had a list of 100 people. We talked about 7. Yeah, so we'll get into some other names later on down the road too. This is just kind of we're capping it off here. Leave a comment down below. Hit that like button. If you see our beautiful faces, just think about subscribing. We'll be back later with some more content.
Peace.